Hi everybody, it's Kathy, and I'm here to take you through a tutorial on making these pretty domino charms. I had posted some on Facebook and you asked me for a tutorial. I think they're so pretty and they're simple to make. So let's get started. These are samples of some that I have made. Let me go over the materials that you'll need. First, you need images. Most of the images that I use, I get off of Etsy. You can simply do a search for altered dominoes, and you'll come up with lots of digital photos and pictures that you can purchase. They're relatively cheap. They're like $1 a sheet. Or if you don't want to purchase anything, you can simply take your scrapbook paper and find an image that you can cut out to 1 inch by 2 inches. So that here's what your image would look like when it's cut out. Okay, so you need dominoes. I got these at Walmart. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them just about anywhere. These are a heavy plastic. They have dots on one side and they're blank on the other. We'll do all our work on the blank side. I think this box at Walmart for $28 was $10, but then I got a box on Amazon of 100 for the same price. So due diligence in finding your supplies. You also will need some wipes to keep yourself glue-free. You need some art glitter to do some, or any sort of adhesive to glue your image onto your domino. You need a strong adhesive to glue the backing onto the domino that will hold the necklace piece, the chain or the cord that you might be using. I use E6000. You can get this at Michael's, at Joann's, I think even at Home Depot. You need diamond glaze, or you can use glossy accents. Either one. This is a dimensional adhesive. It'll give you a nice glossy shine when you're done, and it'll be a little dimensional. So either one. Today we're going to use diamond glaze. You need these, they're called necklace bails or jewelry bails, B-A-I-L-S. And these, I hope you can see it, these are the backing that we're going to put on to hold our necklace in place. That way you don't have to drill any holes or anything. Then I always like to include rhinestones, so you need some rhinestones if you'd like. You don't have to use those. You need some ink to add dimension to the edges, to ink up the edges, and it can be the color of your choosing. I like to use black because it kind of hides any problems with cutting. And a pair of scissors would be helpful in case you have to trim. And I think that's it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to begin by adding the bail to the back of the domino. And we're simply going to glue it right here. I'm going to use this E6000. And I do this first just so I can be working on the other side while it's drying. So we're going to put it right on. Press it down. I'm going to wipe off any excess with my wipe. And I'm going to try to make sure it's right in the middle there. If it's a tad off, that's okay. But if you choose a domino that has 3 rows, you know you're in the right place if you hit that middle row. Makes it easy. While that's drying, we're going to turn it over and we're going to be working on our image. You're not going to need this glue anymore, so you can put that aside. The first thing I want to do is ink up the edges of my image. And I'm choosing a pretty girl with a butterfly in her hair. And it says One Day on it. You can also add anything you'd like to your images, because once you cover it with your diamond glaze or your glossy accents, it'll hold it in place. It's best to do this before you add it to your domino, because once this ink gets on your domino, it won't come off. Okay, so now I'm going to glue this down to the domino. I try to make sure I get all to the edges, but once we put on the diamond glaze or the glossy accent, you won't have much of a problem having it stick. So if you'll notice, even though all your images that you're going to get off of Etsy and everywhere are going to be 1x2, and your dominoes say they're 1x2, quite often they're off a little bit. And you can see how the images go a little over the side. So this is when I take my scissors. Probably should have done this before I put glue on, but I'm just going to trim off the excess. Now I've done this where I've rounded the corners, and you can also do that as well. And since I did that, I have to carefully re-ink the edges, trying not to get it on the domino. There we go. Okay, so that's in place. The next thing I want to do is I want to put my gem, my rhinestone, in place. You can either put this on before you add your diamond glaze, but I'm going to do it all in one. You can do it before or you can do it as you do it. Either way, it's going to stick down. I'm going to use an adhesive, and I'm going to put it right on the butterfly. Wipe off the excess. And now I'm going to add the glossy accent. You'll notice I didn't ask you to get a brush. You kind of just move this around with the tip. Don't shake it, because if you shake this first, you're going to get air bubbles. And when you put it on, try to keep the nozzle as close to the domino as you possibly can. And you see I'm just moving it around, making sure I go all the way to the edges, making sure I go over the rhinestone, and making sure I don't leave anything without coverage. If you do, you can always put a second coat on. And you'll see I have some bubbles, so I'm going to take a pin and try to pop those bubbles. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. When it doesn't work, what you have to do is kind of push it off to the side and clean it up afterwards. There we go. I had to push it off. Same with these. Oh, I was able to pop those. But if you don't pop them and you don't get rid of them, they will be there when it dries. So I got a little bit over this edge. I want to wipe it off. And that is it. That's how you make these. And what I do is, after it dries, and it does take about, I would say, 30 minutes to dry, to touch, but then you want to let it dry some more. Do not take a heat gun to speed up the drying, because what you'll do is you'll dry the top layer, it'll get all yucky, and you'll have to do it all over again. And what I also do with these is, I went on to Amazon. No, I got this, I think, at Michael's. I got some black cord, so you can put black cord through it. Or I went on to Wish and I got black cord with hooks, clasps, and they're relatively cheap. I think, you know, if you've never been on Wish, there's a lot of junk, but for jewelry making and things, there's a lot of stuff you can use. So these cords, for about 100 of them, I think they were free, and then you paid for shipping, and shipping was about $5. So all in all, and it takes a while to get here, but all in all, I find the quality of some of their stuff is junk, but some of their stuff is quite useful. So this actually is perfect. And so that's where I get my cords and my necklace pieces. Anyway, I'll take a picture of when it dries and I'll post it as well. But that's it. That's all there is to it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye.